after the URL. It didn't like my space. It's setting it up.
That's the problem with computers. You know what I mean? Like, they just don't have any common sense. Like, duh. Obviously, I meant no space.
Well, now we know for next time.
Yeah. Well, you know. Because
All right. So this thing says we are live, and let me just double check and make sure that's happening. It is. All right. Hey, Kristen. It's Nicole and Kristen here with NoPants here, the interview portion of NoPants Improv Twitch TV channel. If you are watching us on Facebook or somewhere else, go ahead and head over to twitch.tv/NoPants Improv, where you can interact with us in the chat. Let me know if you have any questions for Kristen. I will put those hard-hitting questions to her. Kristen, how are you today? Thanks for coming on.
thank you for having me, Nicole. How are you?
I am a little after having streaming problems, but now I feel like every time I do this, I feel like I'm getting a little better. So I'm doing well.
I think you nailed it personally. Like, I would be, if it were me, it would be like 2 days later by the time like I figured it out. So you're speedy at problem solving. Good job. Yeah.
So what's your story? Like, how did you end up joining NoPants Improv?
Well, I take classes at the Hideout, and for most of, like, I think the majority of the classes I've taken at Hideout have been taught by Cariel. And then I was TA for him. So like I got to know him a little better. I mean, not like I wouldn't have tried out without knowing him, because I would have. I'm shameless. I'll try out for everything. But I think that like helped me be more comfortable during the audition, maybe. And I also knew Stacy and Bree the same way. They were in classes with me. So yeah, that's I had a better audition than usual because I was less completely freaked out, nervous. So
you were comfortable. That's so cool. And so just for people who are watching who may not know, the Hideout is a theater in Austin, Texas, where a lot of the people on NoPants met. And one of the teachers there, Cariel Kristen, has sort of put this whole group together and is our driving force. And we're very happy that he is. It's exciting. Yeah. How long have you been doing improv?
I can't figure out whether it's been 2 years or maybe it's been 3 years. I feel like it's been a while. I feel like I'm an old timer, but I don't know, because like the classes seem to fly by. So I don't know, 2 to 3 years or 4, or it could be a lifetime. I could actually have been born improvising. I don't know.
I think we all are. I think it's easier when you're a kid, right? You're just like, let's play pretend.
Yeah,
totally. Vampires.
Even though when I was a kid, because like you, I grew up in LA. Like, I actually was very anti-performative anything because I was so surrounded by showbiz kids who were like jazz handing their way through school, and like whose showbiz parents would like show up and like coach them on what to eat lunch or whatever. That's a little extreme, but you know what I mean. And it turned me off so much to like the entertainment industry in general that I was like, I don't ever want to act. I don't ever want to sing. I don't ever want to dance. And I had this like no creative output rule pretty much my whole life. Really like none. So I've tested it out. There's like no combination of drugs and alcohol that will get me to sing or dance, like no matter what. I just will not do it. But now I do a little acting from here and there. Sort of acting, quasi acting, quacting.
Yeah. What's quasi acting?
Well, because we're not like reading a script, like, so I get to make up the character. So it's not quite as transportive. I think it was like experiences like somebody telling you you're going to be whatever. Well, even though I guess people could tell you what you're going to be in improv also, but okay. So it's acting.
Yeah. So to fill in those who are watching, including Stacy. Hi, Stacy. She said hi in the chat.
Hi, Stacy.
Kristen and I found out that we grew up probably like 5 miles from one another, and we're the same age. And we went to different schools, and Kristen did some private school and some boarding schools. So we may or may not have met, but I'm the same way. I don't think I would have done any of this if I was still in LA. I was staunchly like opposed. Like I don't know what they do in that industry, but I'm not into it.
Yes, right. Like if that's what this is going to be, then no, thank you. You know, but.
Yeah.
Removed from that very toxic kind of excess of LA, right? It's fun to do improv, yeah.
Yeah, it just didn't feel like it was related to me. Like it went on in the same location, and I knew a lot of people who were in it, and I knew a lot of like the words and the lingo. I feel now that I'm doing more of this stuff very lucky that I know what it means to slate or to whatever, or that I've been on, like I had a friend growing up whose mom was a costume designer, and she used to take us to Universal to the back lot, and we would sneak into the park.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, so like I feel like I am more comfortable now doing this stuff because I grew up in LA, but when I was in LA, I just wasn't interested.
Fun side tangent. The first and only time I've ever been arrested was at Universal Studios Hollywood. I got sent to Universal Studios backlot jail. I was 18 years old, but I didn't get really arrested. They just called my parents on me. So it was at the taping of American Idol, the finale, Clay Aiken versus Ruben Studdard.
Yes, tell us this story, Kristen.
It's a lot. It's a crazy story. It's an insane story. I don't want to. It might be a little racy. I don't know. I'll try to abbreviate it. Okay. My friend won a Kiss FM contest to like have these tickets or whatever to this finale that people were, I don't know, since nobody's like quite as old as I am, other than you're almost there, but you look much younger. And people loved Clay Aiken versus Ruben Studdard. Like people were like crying, like they had like made like elaborate signs. Like people really cared about who won this thing. So my friend and I, like we show up.
Season 2, right?
Yeah, season 2. This was like right after.
Had one episode of American Idol to know what it was, and then Kelly Clarkson won, and then this was the next one. It was like, who's going to be the next Kelly Clarkson? But it was 2 dudes. Yes.
This was the same era as like the smash hit To Justin from Kelly, which I will never forget as a movie. But yeah, no. So people were like really into it, and my friend and I have never seen American Idol. I'm like, we're like very contrarian, so we are not into it, but we're gonna go anyway for ironic giggles. And it was during finals, and I was a sophomore at USC at the time, and I had been awake for 3 days or something like straight, and I was out of my skull already, just like with tiredness. And then, well, we didn't think there was going to be any alcohol there, so we pre-gamed as hard as we could in the parking lot, and it was pretty hard. And then it turned out that they did sell liquor in there. They would, in fact, give you like an entire bottle of wine in like this like paper container, and that was like, I mean, that was a bad revelation, I guess, because we both were like, I'll take one red, one white. Anyway, long story short, I remember sitting down, being surrounded by people who are shaking with sobs. They're holding like hand bedazzled, becrusted, bejeweled signs. They're like dry heaving. And like, there are kids who've lost their voice from like screaming at nothing. And my friend and I are just like, we look at each other and we like look around. We're like dazed. And the lights go down. Ryan Seacrest comes on the stage. I remember thinking to myself, oh my God, he's so short. And then I blacked out, like just complete blackout. I did not come to until the people were jostling me to get out of the row to like leave. And from what I remember, I was like, oh shoot, whoops, whatever. I get up, I calmly exit the row, head down the stairs and move in an orderly fashion towards the exit. But what the people who called the cops said was happening was that my friend and I were crawling on our hands and knees down the steps individually. Anyway, so that's enough of that story. But it's a doozy. But yeah, I ran from the cops, then threw up all over a cop's shoes. So that's no problem. But don't worry, it's not on my permanent record, so we're great. Everything's good. And also it's been over a decade, so I'm reformed. Yeah.
Well, that's hysterical. And I think if you're going to get arrested, like backlot police, no permanent records is the way to go.
Oh, absolutely. I was mostly like, please don't call my parents, please. And of course they did. Oh, my dad was so mad at me. He was so angry. No problem. That was my first taste of showbiz. And that's when I got the bug, Just kidding. Yeah.
It's so funny to me when you talk like how we grew up so close to each other and how alike we are, because I didn't watch American Idol either. And I was like, what are these people holding signs on elk antlers? They're crazy.
Totally crazy. People were like getting into knife fights over this. Like people were so mad when Clay lost. Clay is still famous. He's a senator. He ran to be senator or something ridiculous, but Ruben won. People forget this, but Ruben Studdard won.
Yeah, I have no idea what Ruben Studdard is up to, come to think about it.
Something good. Let's just say, let's be optimistic. Glass half full. Something really good.
Yes. And I have to tell you, the Twitch chat is saying that you killed it last night playing a detective and that your story is phenomenal.
Oh, thank you. That's really nice. Thank you. I had a really fun time doing that. I wish I could be a real detective. I watch a lot of SVU, so I'm prepared mentally if ever there should be an occasion where like I need to step in and be a detective in real life. But until then, I'm happy to pretend for sure.
Love it.
There were some great. I mean, you should have seen Stacey was amazing. I rewatched it and I was dying laughing at some of the things she said. I can't remember, but she had one. It was like, we're going to be investigating the ties between cults and jelly beans. I don't know. It was a virtuoso performance. So.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm sorry I missed it. I'll have to rewatch it. That sounds amazing.
It really came out great. And Bree played both the victim and the first cop on the beat, which I loved. I thought was like amazing. Yeah. So many good things.
I love that. And so how are you finding improv virtually in general versus real life?
It has definitely its advantages and disadvantages. Like the thing I like most about improv, I have to admit, is like that it's like an adrenaline rush. Like for me, it's like jumping out of a plane. And in some ways, like I like improv because it's like a shock to my system, because I have a really hard time breaking out of my like bad habits and like blah, 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 obsessiveness. And then you just get pushed on stage. And I feel like that isn't quite the same when you're just sitting in a room by yourself, like whatever. At the same time, like now I've had like enough improv online that like I've started to really pay attention to like what works narrative wise. Like it's made me pay a lot more attention to like what the component parts of improv are, because you have to figure out what works and what doesn't. And that makes you really have to like look under the hood, So now I am like certifiably capable of like metaphorically changing my oil or whatever. That's not true. I probably could never change oil even in metaphor. But something like that. Mechanical tinkering. I can tinker a little. So that's been good. And also I have enjoyed being in NoPants a lot and getting to know people, which I normally don't do. I'm not very good socially. I am terrible socially. So
that's interesting. It's so cool that like the virtual improv, I think a lot of people that I've talked to, like I've done classes through IO here in Chicago and stuff, where there were a lot of people who were supposed to come over for summer intensives from Europe. And they were really sad that they didn't get to actually meet the people and make the improv friends. But for you, virtuals made it almost sounds like easier to be social.
Like sometimes like it depends on the circumstances. Like sometimes I end up in a class where like it's very small, or for whatever reason there's somebody I know, and then I become friends with everybody and it's like it's great, and then I have a nice. But other times I'm so shy that it takes like 3 levels before I even like know anybody's name, or they'll like go out for drinks and be too scared to ask me because have this like resting bitch face, like, or whatever. And so now with this, like it's a forced socialization and it's good for me. I just hope I'm not like so awkward. I guess I'm like worried that people are going to be like, shucks that we have to talk to her, because I am so out of practice with like, I don't know, talking to anybody I'm not already good friends with. So say some weird stuff. Yeah, I guess everybody says some weird stuff from time to time.
I say a lot of weird stuff, and one thing I want to say that's not weird is that I want you to come everywhere and do everything. Little sort of behind the no pants curtain, we do game nights every Saturday. We watch videos on Zoom. Like, we do a lot to sort of create ensemble and togetherness. And I know, and I bet the chat will back me up here, that I want you to come to everything. And like,
that's so sweet. I appreciate it. You guys are really great. It's been so fun. The games nights are the funnest thing ever. They're really great. No, this has been like a really nice experience, and it shocks me because I am so cynical, like that I would have thought, I don't know, I would have thought like it would have been like unenjoyable, or I wouldn't, but no, like it's been great. Everybody in NoPants is a special, delicate flower that I really enjoy getting to know and appreciate their styles or whatever. Yeah, it's been fun. I'm excited. I'm going to direct now. Well, you did your first directing, right?
This is actually the first, or September will be the first month that I didn't pitch any shows, because I haven't been in front of the computer a lot, honestly. It just like life happened. Yes. And Anne says that you have resting delightful face, and she does not know what you're talking about. And I agree.
Thank you. Sure. Yeah. Delightful, unapproachable, maybe. I don't know. Or, also, to be fair, I also have do like the active body language. I'm really not like when people come like to talk to me, like sometimes I'll do this like really quickly, like as if I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm like ducking for cover. So I give off some vibes. I am working on that though. It's something I'm working on. That's how I started doing improv in the first place. Was my therapist was like, you kind of need to re-socialize a little bit, like, because I just, I've been moving around from city to city and like I didn't have any friends in Austin and was like just tired of like finding a new friend group or whatever. So I was like, I spent a lot of time by myself for a while, and then I kind of became like a feral animal. Like I had a hard time talking to people at all, like even just like to buy coffee. I just had gotten so in my own head about it. So improv was very good for that.
Yeah. And you had one of your first classes with Stacy, right?
Yeah. Definitely. One of my first classes at Hideout. It was a great class. Paris, Texas was our class name, because everything was set in Paris, Texas.
She says that in your class, she knew immediately that you were her favorite. Oh my gosh, your water bottle looks so cool.
Oh, because of my green
background.
Stacey was my favorite too. She was so great. She was really good, like right from the start. And we had a ruckus party, and which I've never had an improv class have quite so ruckus a party ever again. It was great. So yeah, good class.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Tell us about the show you're directing next month.
I'm doing two. One of them is one that I am really excited about, called Chatty Cathy's, and it's just it's going to be like kind of a take on sort of a hybrid of The View and also maybe like Fox and Friends, but not political, just more like a talk panel format where we'll have a couple hosts who have very clear sort of defined points of view, and they can be super wacky, but whatever. They each have their own thing that they're bringing to the table, and they're going to discuss whatever they want to. Just like, it doesn't have to be current events. It can just be like social trends, made up inventions that are changing the future of dancing. Who knows? And then it'll be punctuated with field correspondents who will be out interviewing people on the streets about things that they're talking about, or interviewing people on the streets about whatever they feel like. We might have like a fluffy puppy moment of the week segment, who knows? Then there'll be callers calling in to complain about things, and maybe one extra celebrity fun guest star, or who knows, just so that everybody can interview them. But yeah, like kind of little standalone segments, but I think it's going to be really fun. That's my hope anyway. The other one is more mysterious. It's a murder mystery. Well, I haven't determined what exactly the theme I'm going to do is. I'm toying with, and Nicole, I totally would love advice from you on this. I'm toying with the idea of making it like a courtroom, like where it's like a witness or like witnesses and they're like unreliable. I don't want it to be about legal procedure at all. I just want it to be more about like just having somebody basically being almost interviewed by a documentary team, but instead it's like a lawyer, but a little bit more interactive. I think it'd be fun to have like surprise revelations and alibis that turn out to be false or whatever. I don't know. But I don't want it to be like a crime procedural. So I don't know. I'm open to other ideas for how to murder and mystify people. So
Yeah.
any format. Yeah.
Which brings me to like another undercover thing that we have in common, which is that we're both attorneys.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I am the world's most apathetic attorney. So I mean, I am. If I have a very like, it's like there's so few things in this world that I could take immediately just like decide like what I'd rather do. But like I have a very like, clear set of like careers I would have like should have gone for, like zookeeper for grizzly bears, astronaut, sexy librarian, or like an owner operator of a bar for people who don't want to talk to other people, right? But like, you know, but yeah, yes, I am a lawyer. Mm-hmm. Just like my dad.
I feel like you could do several of those at a time. Maybe not astronaut and like zookeeper. You could be a zookeeper who owns a bar and like works in a library on the weekends. Or
I feel like most people who are charged with the care of like of a American brown bear of a certain size, probably it's all prepossessing. But maybe they could own a little like bear themed like cavern like right next to the zoo. Maybe that could be feasible. Yeah,
well,
I would
I
do
don't
it.
know about you, but I want to do a show where we just explore you in each of those careers.
Oh my god, that would be great. I would find some new and surprising ways to not succeed in them, I'm sure, or succeed in very unusual ways. Also, like I could learn to talk to bears telepathically, which would be, I mean, that's what I imagine would happen.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, or I'd get like mauled like Grizzly Man. It's okay.
I don't know. What
Yeah.
about you, audience? Do you want to see a show where we go through all of Kristen's potential career options and see decide which one is next?
Permanent camp counselor who still thinks that they're a camper.
Do you go
quality.
Do you go camping, or is this just like a vision?
Oh, here's something that you would probably not guess looking at me, the avid indoors woman that I am. But I spent an entire semester camping, hiking and camping in Colorado in high school. It was like a NOLS course. And I have my wilderness first aid like responders license. I know how to like make you a splint with ski poles. So I can be I can read a topographical map. I know how to triangulate. Just throw that out there. Don't be though, because I went to this semester because I went to all girls boarding school and I really wanted to be around boys. And the semester was like with another like set like feeder school or whatever, so it was co-ed. That was my the impetus for me doing it. So not my heart was not in the right place, but it was beautiful. It was in Colorado.
I love that. Well, the audience is super into the idea of a show where we explore all of Kristen's alternative careers. Telepathic detective seems to be a real favorite.
Lifestyle guru, but like the opposite of like the healthy cat, like, you know what I mean? Like somebody who like maybe like health nuts hire me to like help them chill out and like slopify. That's not the word I want to use. If I was going to like trademark this, that would be a job I could have. Taste tester. Yeah. What? Yeah.
You could just say relax.
Just relax. Yeah. Relax sounds a lot better than slopify somehow. I don't know why. But yeah, personal, I don't know, toys concierge, something like that. Something where my entire job is just like dicking around. Yeah. But who knows?
Yeah.
I would love to be a candy tester at the Willy Wonka factory too. So if anybody knows anybody, put a word in.
I'm living for this list.
Yeah, this is
Are
a
you
pretty
going to
good
become
list.
an Oompa Loompa? Because I think your hair needs to be green.
That would clash. So I mean that's my skin tone is all about like orange looks just terrible on me. That's not true even. No, I could do an Oompa Loompa thing. The part of that I have a problem with is not the hair or the makeup or the outfits or even being 4 foot tall. It's that they sing and dance like as their primary mode of expression, which is anathema to me. So can't be that. Can't do that.
We'll have to
Yeah, never say never. Yeah.
Cool. And so one other fun thing that I learned about you, because on NoPants we sometimes like to bring our pets on, is that you have an unusual pet.
I do have an unusual pet. I should have brought him over here so that I could put him on. His name is Tuko. He is a Russian tortoise. He is 6.5 years old now. He's going to live till he's 60. So I'm going to provide for him in my will. I'm going to give him like a little tortoise palace and like a manservant to, I don't know, feed him radicchio, which is his favorite food. Yeah, he's great.
That's so cool. Yeah.
He's very cute. Yeah, he was like the biggest impulse buy of all time. I think I told you this story, right? Where like this girl posted on Craigslist, like looking for somebody to walk my pet tortoise around Central Park. $20 an hour. Like you have it in a stroller, you let it graze every once in a while and just answer questions about it. It sounded amazing, but apparently she got like 250,000 responses to her ad. So it's like, which is just like, I was like so devastated because I was like, that's my dream job. It's another job I could definitely have. And so I just like went online, was like, where do you buy tortoises? And I found like an ethical place to get a tortoise. And I like had all this momentum. I like put the tortoise in my shopping cart. I'm ready to check out. And I like look at the fine print and it's like, we're not monsters. Like we ship our tortoises overnight. If you order a tortoise, it's gonna be there tomorrow. Like just if you try and ship at any other speed, we'll cancel your order. And I was like, and I was like, because I had all this, I was ready. And I hesitated for a second and then I just like went for it. And that was it. Like I had to go find the full tortoise setup in one day, which luckily in Manhattan is not as hard as it would be probably anywhere else on earth because they have a dedicated tortoise pet store on the Upper West Side. So, but yeah, that's how Tuko came into my life.
Well, I hope Tuko guest stars soon.
He's amazing. Yeah. He's when he opens his mouth, he has no teeth and he has a little heart-shaped tongue. It's the cutest thing I've ever seen. So
his range is out of this world.
He's adorable. He has an incredible, like he's a great straight man. He is the flattest affect. He never breaks, you know? It's really funny.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well,
Also cats.
What came to me about your show, I don't think it's going to turn into a courtroom procedural because I just don't think, number one, I'm not about to get into procedure. I don't think you want to get into procedure. I don't think we're in danger of anyone else doing it.
Can I just say that I actually never went to crim pro, not even one time in law school. I figured out how by third year, I figured out how to skip classes without ever getting in trouble because, you know, they call on you Socratic method style, except if you don't sign the seating chart, then they can't find you. I know it was like an evil genius thing to do, but it meant that I literally never once stepped foot in my crim pro classroom. So I very attenuated knowledge of criminal procedure.
But I want to see someone on the witness stand talking about what happened, and then I want to see flashbacks, sort of like Armando.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, that would be fun. That would be really fun. Or like it could even just be like less formal. Like it could be like gossip on the playground. You know what I mean? Like, but of course we don't want any dead kids, so probably not on the playground. But something like that, just like where there's like a thing, because like what I think would be interesting is to explore like flashbacking and like recalling like through like the eyes of like a narrator who may or may not be reliable. Right. Or like, you know what might be fun too is I love he said, she said in improv where like somebody's like, oh, how was your date? And like one person's like, oh, it was amazing. And then they describe it and the flashback is like, whoa. And then the next person like describes it and it's like just like a terrible nightmare. Like it's fun. And I think that would be kind of fun to do, like have like basically split like the people into 2 teams or something and have them recount the same evening or something, but like see how they put together what the clues are or something. I don't know. That might be fun. I gotta think about
perspective. I love it.
Yeah.
That's so cool. All right. Well, I've kept you now for half an hour, and this is really ideally conceived of as a 15 to 20 minute show, although it doesn't think that's ever going to happen. No, because I just love talking to all you guys so much. I'm not into 15 or 20 minute shows, so I like to go long. But do you have any parting thoughts or any like fun improv ideas, or are you gonna change your oil like a mechanic for us? Or what's going on?
I actually have literally no idea where to begin. Like, does the oil is that in the hood even, or is that on the side somewhere? Or
do you change it from underneath? Do you drain it? Like, I don't even know.
To, like, jack up it with the tired thing, or you gotta like get it up in the. I mean.
This is how I change my oil.
Yeah.
Emergency. Hello. AAA.
I haven't had my driver's license for like 10 years, but when I did have a car, I had it for 5 years and I never changed its oil. So that's not safe. Yeah. That's yep.
You could just never move back to LA now.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm totally good with that. That's great. Yeah. I mean, I miss you so much, Los Angeles. No, it's a great place. No, none of my family lives there. My best friend lives there, which I do miss her, but yeah. Anyway, bye. Yeah. All
right. Thanks, world. We'll talk to you soon. We'll see you next week on No Pants Here. We're going to have Tanya from Belgium come and talk to us about her improv experience and what she loves about No Pants and see what kind of wackiness comes out of that. So we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.